Companies are increasingly establishing significant public objectives for electrical vehicles. Several automobile manufacturers make various promises about the charging speed and range of their electric cars at the debut of their new models. Will these companies be able to keep all of their promises? Do they have the structure and capacity to phase out gasoline-powered vehicles and produce electric cars? The topic of today's video is automobile manufacturers' claims and the likelihood of having electric vehicles soon. Many automakers have hopped on the EV bandwagon with their own EVs or plug-ins in the decade since the Nissan Leaf became the first modern, mass-produced electric car. Self-charging hybrids like the Toyota Prius have become almost ubiquitous. However, no significant legacy car maker has placed all of its eggs in the EV basket. Due to imminent regulatory deadlines or rising consumer interest in electric vehicles, that appears to be changing. The trickle of electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid vehicle debuts has transformed into a storm of information concerning expedited EV deadlines and emissions reduction targets. Only time will tell if the events promised in these pronouncements will occur, or if they merely folder for a future-oriented investment class. One last point before we go on. When automakers discuss electrified cars, they include hybrids, plug-in hybrids, electric vehicles, and, in certain circumstances, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. When a single car has many electrified variations, such as the Prius hybrid and plug-in models, automakers will count each one individually toward their electrification targets. BMW CEO Frank Weber has accused competitors of failing to deliver on their commitments. In an interview, Weber stated, "They play a game with customer expectations." He claims the charging speeds and ranges for electric vehicles are not attained. Weber also thinks it's not very honest that some companies state a date when they'll stop utilizing combustion engines, but then include a bunch of caveats. According to Weber, this renders it an empty promise. By 2030, we will no longer be using combustion engines. Not only in China, where demand will continue to exist. Mercedes-Benz and Audi, BMW's main competitors, have lately made similar claims. Weber is irritated by it. Such sentiments do not match BMW, Weber added. You must be forthright about this. In the end, no one profits if everyone offers electric cars, but the charging infrastructure is inadequate. When you look across the world, you'll notice that many countries are still not ready for electric vehicles. That is something we cannot overlook. Consider the countries of Poland, Spain, and Italy. People are sensitive to this topic, but electric vehicle adoption will fail if the right circumstances are not in place. We don't want it to happen. According to Weber, companies must do more work before widely available electric vehicles. Only if the charging infrastructure is in place and only green energy is used. We are ready for a massive breakthrough if there are enough raw materials for battery packs and electric motors, and only if the battery packs can be mass-built. As a result, we'll need to make a gradual adjustment. What prevents these companies from delivering on their promise to eliminate combustion engines? Let us begin by looking at the situation in Africa. Air pollution kills over 600,000 individuals in Africa each year. In 2013, a study estimated that these fatalities cost the continent $215 billion. Transportation, like everywhere else, is critical in Africa because it keeps the economy running. On the other hand, current means of transport are the world's fastest growing sources of carbon emissions. Vehicles emit 24% of toxic carbon dioxide when they consume gasoline. In Africa, over 72 million automobiles operate, most of which run on fossil fuels, petroleum, and natural gas, polluting the air and endangering persons and the environment. Aside from the dangers of fossil fuels, poor fuel quality and the selling of used and worn-out fossil fuel-powered automobiles on the streets add to transportation emissions. If Africa does not switch to cleaner fuels or electric vehicles, transportation emissions will be twice what they were in 2015. Africa now accounts for only 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and it is likely to be the last continent to switch from fossil fuel to electric vehicles. African governments have a critical role to play in hastening adoption. Europe is enacting stringent restrictions to ensure that all new automobiles are emission-free by 2035. Electricity is still a luxury in most regions of Africa, with over 640 million people without it. Even though electric cars will help cut down gas and maintenance costs, electricity is not cheap in Africa. If electric cars are the future, why does that future seem to be such a long time coming? It used to be said that electric cars would never take off until they could travel a similar distance to a petrol or diesel car. Even then, a lack of battery charging points was an obstacle to their success, but both those objections have already been overcome or are on course to being overwhelmed. Governments are set to ban the sale of fossil fuel vehicles within the next decade in many countries. So why aren't there more electric vehicles on the world's roads? The apparent reason for hesitation is cost. Electric automobiles have always been more costly than gasoline or diesel vehicles. However, proponents believe that electric cars are less expensive due to decreased fuel, maintenance, and servicing expenses. The all-electric Nissan Leaf costs $28,620 in Spain, the country with the lowest prices for this model, compared to the similar-sized petrol Nissan Micra, which costs $17,255 in Spain. Leasing the car's battery rather than having it included in the initial purchase might save money. According to experts, leasing a battery costs between $69 and $138 a month. This comes with the added benefit of having it replaced for free at the end of its life. According to research, the most common customer worries regarding electric cars are the range and the shortage of charging stations. However, 31% of those polled in China raised concerns about the safety of battery technology. All of this implies that you can purchase a new electric vehicle. However, a global scarcity of microchips is delaying delivery of all kinds, including electric cars. According to experts, companies produced 1.4 million automobiles and light vans alone in the first quarter of 2021. Even though the number of publicly accessible battery chargers has increased sevenfold in the last 5 years, according to the International Energy Agency, or the IEA, there is still a sense that there aren't enough to keep electric vehicles on the road. And that impression is not unfounded. According to the IEA, only France, Italy, and the Netherlands have supplied the requisite charging outlets under the EU's Alternative Fuel Infrastructure Directive. China has seen the most expansion in public charging infrastructure, with fast chargers growing by 44% to 310,000 by 2020. By contrast, the IEA says 38,000 fast chargers in Europe at the end of 2020 and just 17,000 in the US. Which of these electric cars do we expect to see soon? A Honda EV designed in collaboration with GM, purportedly a crossover, is slated to go into production in 2023. Mazda expects to unveil at least 2 plug-in hybrids by the end of the year. Nissan intends to debut 8 electric vehicles by the end of the year and sell 1 million hybrid or electric cars internationally. Acura plans to launch an electric vehicle in collaboration with GM by 2024. The debut of Land Rover's first all-electric car is expected. Volvo has stated that it will replace the XC60 with an all-electric vehicle. It will be the first vehicle to use technology developed by Swedish battery manufacturer Northvolt. Audi wants to have 30 electrified cars by 2025, with 20 of them being electric vehicles. BMW predicted in 2017 that hybrid and electric car sales will account for 15 to 25% of worldwide sales by 2025. Ford plans to invest $29 billion in electric vehicles by 2025. GM has promised a $27 billion investment in electric vehicles until 2025. The business intends to release 30 electric cars, 20 of which will be sold in North America. The video for today has come to an end. Please like it and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos if you enjoyed this video. To be the first to know when a new video is released, press the bell button.